Hi. Welcome to purple. We got a lot of it here. There's a lot to be had. Check it out. It's all like purple. It's all bubbly too. I did not expect that. That's a very creative choice, I must say. And we're here because we've made it here. We are the proud owners of a spacecraft that has managed to get all the way here. We've gotten to Eve. And we've gotten to Eve without a map. I have a lot of updates I wish to share. It's exactly one update, but it's like a pretty cool update. Check it out. I have revised the spreadsheet and the data and all the stuff to be a lovely, convenient vertical column as opposed to the horizontal. This means that it all nicely fits on one page, and we've got these convenient little tabs that tell us what data we're dataing. All of this is very good. It's got a bunch of benefits, like I can reference the individual column. Technically, this is actually worse for me. It's become harder for me to reference the data. And if I'm calculating a formula somewhere, it's become much more verbose, which is a little inconvenient. But there are some benefits, like if I look at the formula, it's not just some random cell that has no context. It tells me at the very least if it's a standard gravitational parameter, the semi-major axis, the sphere of influence. Like, at least there's like contextual help in the formula. But the big upgrade is to the Hoffman calculator. Behold. The whole vertical horizontal thing has been removed, and it is now individual convenient tables for every single planet that reference back to the calculations and numbers in the datasheet here. It's like nice and neat and convenient. Every single object that has gravity in the game is accounted for. They're color-coded based on what thing they're orbiting is. Like the Kerbin SOI is here. Duna, Eve, we got the whole jewel pile down here. Things that don't have moons like Moho Dres and Ilu and the sun are all sun-colored. It's great. And then separately, though, I didn't really make it any more fancy. I've updated the escape calculator to reference this new table format, which has made it a little nicer. On the back end, at least. You can't see it, obviously. Plus, this whole thing now has real numbers for it. Thanks to our work last time, we have vague estimates for the excess speed needed to go from any celestial body to any other, provided it's ones that orbit the sun. So that's good. That's real good. And today, we endeavor to do more. There are a few options that we have. Frankly, I don't know which one to pick. I don't really come into these with a plan, just like options. Probably a bad idea. Let's think of our progress so far. We've gotten to Duna. We've gotten to Ike. We've gotten to Eve. And there's some data about Eve that we could go back and get, like the semi-major, not the semi-major, the sphere of influence, the gravitation parameter could be tightened down. Well, no, the SGP is pretty fine. Mostly the sphere of influence, and I would like to better know its semi-major axis. We kind of fell into Eve accidentally, and maybe we don't need an accurate SMA if we don't need one to get there. But I would like to have one. Other things we can do is we can go to a new planet. Options in my mind are Moho, or possibly Dres or Jewel. We just fill out the data, start refining our numbers. We're still, as always, kind of restricted by the whole eccentricity problem. which is why I'm hesitant to try to go to Gilly. Before all that, though, we got a lot of science from that Eve mission, and I want to see if there's anything we want. We are just short of getting science in the Super Science tab. But we can get one of the 550s and a 300. We wanted heavy landing specifically. What else do we want? Better aerodynamic structures might be good if we make some super ships with nuclear stages. The Mark III would be good for that. Metamaterials would be the final word in constructing whatever ship we possibly want. And I like that. Big nose cone. Big flag. Big docking port might be real good for some construction. There's also the big probe bodies, which gives us some pretty good data. Anomaly detection 24% on both of these. The final word being 35%. 30%. We could also go back, get things like the bigger mechanical components, better normal aircraft flight. That might be cool. Or better electrics. The better electrics might be real important if we're going to go to deep space and not have the sun available. Especially for those xenon thrusters. I really don't know. A lot of options, lot of options. I think for the time being, let's start sane and reasonable. Let's do another mission to Eve. The oceans will probably give us good biome data, and we can intentionally try and get the SOI and the semi-major down a bit more refined. We know the thing's gonna be slightly eccentric, but we can make it work. So we sent the brand. Hold on. I know the ad campaign's supposed to be like a super brand, but I don't remember in what way. Because when checking the map to select the ship, it called it the brand, which suggests to me that it's not the ad. What's the ad look like? Oh yeah, this was our like deep space science thing with like the short stack here. And then the brand was the big pile of... Yes. This one had more atmospheric stuff for Eve and things. Okay, to further exemplify our mastery of getting to Eve, and hopefully improve our mastery of being at Eve, let's go to Eve. Get the SOI data. Definitely want that. So even if we, like, fly by and then leave, that's fine. Probably won't be a high energy orbit anyway, so we can get back. Okay, an attempt to go to Eve right off the bat in 3, 2, 1, launch. Hello. And yes, I have heard of Hypixel Skyblock. Sorry, I'm kind of flying a rocket right now. My thoughts on it are that it's not very Skyblock. I mean, it is Skyblock in that there's a place for it, but it's more like Farmville. Good separation, good cross. Most of what I know about Hypixel Skyblock is filtered through my knowledge and experience of Technoblade. And as much as my perception of it is basically, in my understanding of it, it is Minecraft-oriented, competitive Stardew Valley. And as much as I think casual collaborative Stardew Valley would be cool, competitive Stardew Valley just seems like a toxic mess. Is that a good thing or a bad thing? I'm surprised we're still on fire this high up. Especially on Ascent. I think we've accidentally wandered ourselves into a really good Ascent orbit. At least in terms of directional profile. If we went straight up and then finished going straight up, we would fall back down, straight down. The way of planetary orbits is that your goal is not to go up and stay up. Your goal is to go sideways and fall around the planet. If you go like 100% up and 0% sideways, no matter how high up you go, you'll eventually go straight down and hit the planet. But the planet is not infinitely wide. So if you go any amount sideways, or at least enough sideways, you can miss the planet. And that's really what you're hoping for. I mean, theoretically, yes, but we'd only escape the gravitational pull going straight up. There's another aspect to this. If we're going sideways and gravity pulls us towards the planet, it's not slowing us down, it's just turning us. If we were going straight up and gravity pulled us straight down, it would slow us down. If we're going around like this, it's just turning us, but we're keeping our speed. And there's a bit more complicated stuff that means, but basically, as far as I care right now, going sideways is more fuel efficient. Yeah, there won't be an orbit if we go in a straight line. Oh, I've been not paying attention. We just reached apoapsis. This is perhaps one of the cleanest orbits I've ever made. Okay, time to use the new and improved calculator zone. Very exciting. I'm very excited by this. Let's see here. So, 71496 is our current altitude. And we probably want to do a target of 72,000 just to be safe. 2292.6. Let's do it. All right, great. Hey, hello. Welcome. I'm in space. It's hard to see because of all the dark in space, but I am in space. There's a sunset horizon. Maybe that's a bit more informative. Okay, more important, we need to prepare ourselves for the I'm starting to worry that I've set this too low. Okay, no, we're good. Barely above the atmosphere line, but we are above it. No, we're heading towards the sun. Okay, while the ship turns around, let's do our calculations for the trip to Eve. I'm going to put in a rough estimate of 7,500 for our altitude. Sorry, 70,500. Yes. So our escape velocity is this. Our excess velocity, we are going from Kerbin to Eve. So that would be this. For a target velocity of 3323.6 going backwards. Hi, Thega. Also, no. This is, we left somebody in the theme park and we gotta go back and get them. That is not true. We're going to, what's like a famous water park? Like a water park specifically. Okay, I think we're pointed in just about the right direction. 3323.6. Launch. To 3.6. I have overshot it a little bit. Hopefully that is fine. I mean, we'll be in the ballpark regardless. There's the sun. I guess I can speed it up. Accelerate! And we are now interplanetary. Okay, so now that we're out here, let's point ourselves... Well, okay, let's go to Periapsis first, see what we're dealing with. Well, thank you. I know of Queso. I have not actually seen anything of what Queso has done. I've missed Periapsis because I was not paying attention. This is the problem with having people that talk to me now. I get distracted. I missed our stop. I gotta turn the car around. Oh, okay. That's like half of what I do. I am known on occasion to play things. Okay. Watch the vertical indicator. Oh. Sorry, you were not able to see. My bad. It always trips me up. Oh. Speed indicator is going down. I mean, I think there are a couple of people who would consider KSP being a big open void of space to be kind of like a cosmic horror kind of deal. There is the Kraken and stuff. Okay, we are now at Periapsis. We can now start thinking about what the heck is going on proper. We are at 9078 million. And according to Duna Tech, or not Duna Orbit, but we wanted Eve Tactics. It seems that the lower bound for our semi-major axis is 9500 in altitude. So as expected, we are accidentally below Eve because we overshot. Okay, so target velocity then would be 11326.6, which we can do. 11326.6. To recap what we're doing, because apparently it's a point of confusion, we are trying to go to Eve. We are currently flying around the sun, and we are trying to lower our orbit so that it is circular at the same altitude Eve is above the sun. I understand that you may not be familiar with the Kerbin solar system, but Eve is basically a proxy for Venus, positionally and atmospherically. So we started at Kerbin, which is above Eve. We had to go lower, and now we're trying to get exactly lower. And the speed we need to be at to make this orbit a circle, or closer to a circle, that is on the other side at Eve's correct altitude, 11326.6. So we gotta slow down because we're at like 12199.6. 11326. Activate thrust in 3, 2, 1, go. 11326.6. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 1132.6.6. We're there. Okay, now that we've done this, we can go to the other side of the orbit and then refine that side as well. Then we'll start looking for Eve, where it is relative to us, and start narrowing in on it. Okay, here we're here. 9502. Go back over here. We want this to be a 9502 because that's where we are. We want it to be circular. So 10957.0. We want to accelerate a little bit. One oh nine five 7.0. 10957.0. 109. 1, 2, 3, 4. 57.0. We're there. Okay. So we should now be in a circular orbit at about the altitude Eve is on average. Now we just have to line ourselves up with Eve. For that, we want to look at Eve, see where it is in comparison to us. I'm going to spin the ship so that our nav flight ball guidance thing is pointing on the horizon. Now, Eve is behind us. I can see it right there. So it's behind us. So we want to flip to be looking backwards. Oh man, this thing is... It's pretty large and cumbersome. That is not a phone number. I don't even know if that's enough digits for a phone number. Okay, the way we flip the ship is... Okay, you can use small boosters to flip the ship. This ship does have some, but we're not using them right now. We're saving them for later. Inside the ship is a giant spinning wheel that, if we apply the brakes to it, will slow the wheel down, but speed the rest of the ship's rotation up. And then when we want to stop spinning, we floor it on that wheel, so it speeds up while the rest of the ship speeds down in rotation. It's called a reaction wheel, and yes, it works IRL. It's basically a gyroscope. Okay, now that we're pointed this way, we want to align the camera with the back of the ship. Try and get a good visual indication. Let's point it like that. And now we want to physically point the ship at Eve, which should be below us. Nah, the small boosters are a lot more powerful than the spinning wheel, but they naturally cost fuel, and I care a lot more about fuel efficiency than I do about speed. So I hold off for now. Okay, I see Duna coming up. I see Eve coming up. We're using the entire ship as basically one massive arrow to point at exactly where Duna is. There. Okay. Looking at the nav ball, we are about, let's say 50 degrees, 51 maybe degrees below the horizon. So in the big circle, actually, you know what? I'm going to show off the illustration of this for a second. Let's get the doodling out. Let's illustrate this. Here's my circle thing. So here's the situation. Right now, in this exact moment. What the heck? Why am I that color? There we go. We are on a circle. Let's say we're right here. Here's the center of the circle where the sun is. Right now, Eve is behind us. Over here. Here's Eve. And we know that directly to Eve right here, between the horizontal of the circle and the direction we pointed the ship to point at Eve, is 53 degrees-ish. In fact, I'm going to say it's 52 just to be safe. So using this angle, the fact that this is 90 degrees, we can say that this other part here is 38 degrees. And because we're in a circular orbit with Eve, and we're assuming Eve's vaguely circular, this is the same length, this is the same length, these are the same angles. So this is 38 degrees here. And altogether, that puts the angle between us and Eve at this particular angle here, which I believe is 112. It's either 112 or 102. It's 102. So we're basically 102 degrees in front of Eve right now. So we got to loop around it at a higher orbit so that when we go around once, Eve goes around once and a little bit so that it catches up to us. And I know this has turned into a massive mess, but please try and understand that this is just the math we have to deal with right now. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with that because I've already did the math before and built this calculator. All we need to know is our current altitude, which is 9502. We could fly towards it, but if we did so, the sun's gravity would pull us down. Like if we just throttled the engines pointed straight at Eve, we would fall short of it because the sun's gravity. We could thrust even harder to counteract that, but it would take so much fuel, we do not have that much fuel. So instead, we're going to fly around the sun slowly to let Eve catch up to us, because it's spinning. We're both on the carousel around the sun. So our altitude right now is 9,502 million. We are 52 degrees away behind us. And we want to get to a targeted apo... Oh, oops. I need to calculate this in terms of proper radius. My bad. So correct radius would be this one. So we need to target an apoapsis of this altitude. And then in exactly 4 orbits, Eve will have caught up to us. So let's put this in our target radius location here. And we need a velocity of 11203.7. This unfortunately undoes some of the work we did before. but that's fine. It's necessary. Not really. We can accelerate time. Okay, so 11203.7. I'm just gonna ditch the booster stage now just so I can spin faster. There we go. Okay. 11203.7. This is kind of the thing with rocket science. You need to balance speed and fuel efficiency. And generally, you want fuel efficiency to be the more important thing. Because you can survive getting there slower. You cannot survive running out of fuel. I don't know. Von Braun. 11203.7, we are there. Okay, now we wait exactly 4 orbits, and Eve should basically just be on top of us. Let's go to looking at the sun. After 2 orbits, I'll check again, just to make sure that we're on the same area. If I run out of fuel, though, I run out of options. I don't like running out of options. Okay, so right now we're at a higher altitude than Eve, which means for the most part Eve is moving faster than us. Since Eve is behind us, this is a good thing. It gives Eve time to catch up. With what ground? That's the trick of space. You can't walk there. There's no floor. Okay, that was 1 orbit. We'll go to 2. Maybe I should actually turn it to the camera mode where I don't have to keep adjusting it like this. Okay, 2 orbits down, 2 to go. Much better. Now we can very clearly see the purple dot that is Eve getting closer to us. If you were playing, you would make a rocket called Eve, put it next to the launch site, then get a Kerbal out and walk to it. That's what you would do. Okay, 3 orbits, 1 more. Then we gotta do some serious work. I think I can start seeing the dot of Gilly. Yeah, I can. There it is. Okay, stop. We need to slow back down. Eve is just about on the horizon. Yeah, it's dead ahead of us. Now, we still need to be faster than it because we're still in front of it. So we don't want to go down to 9502 again. Let's go down to 9600 then. 9600 million. 10984.9. No, we started going faster than it. We need to slow down now. If you're asking why we want to go faster than... Oh, okay, hold on. Let me just... I'll explain it in a second. I need to get this orbit right. Oh, 10984.9. Too far. Those were the mini boosters that you just heard and saw. Little puffs of smoke coming from the top of the rocket. Okay. Now we wait in orbit and see what happens. But to answer your question, why go faster if we're in front? This is the most unintuitive trick of orbital mechanics. But once you get it, you get it. When we go faster, we fly away from the sun. And that means we go higher. When we go higher, we slow down. So it takes longer for us to do a full orbit loop than if we were slower. It's wacky like that. Every single object in orbit around the same thing will make a full orbit faster if they're lower. So if we want to go slower around, we need to go higher, and to go higher, we need to go faster here. All the, like, geometry is, like, bent around into a loop because of the whole sun gravity thing. But the basic idea is that if we go faster, that equates to going higher, which means we're kind of, like, lobbing over to Eve, while Eve goes forward in a straight line. So it's kind of like stalling an airplane by flaring up to go to a higher altitude. You fly up, you're in the higher air, you kind of just sort of drift for a bit and then fall down with the thing behind you catching up. And that's what we're doing here. What we don't know is how much exactly we need to do. I'm kind of just eyeballing it. Where's Eve? There's Eve. Let's watch Eve. The purplish dot over here that I'm trying to have text for, that's Eve. So So as we fly around and get higher than it, it is hopefully going to close in on us. Maybe I should actually check if it's getting closer to us by doing the old angle trick. Okay, hold off for a second. I want to see if we're higher or lower than it right now. Or if we're faster or slower than it, I mean. So, Gilly. We time warp one complete orbit, and if Eve is higher relative to the horizon than we are, when we come back, that implies that it's faster than us. So the good old angle trick, as I just called it, is basically saying, if you're traveling in a circle and something else is traveling in a circle, the only possible way that something is perfectly horizontal to you is if you're in the same spot. The further away the second thing is on the circle, the lower it will look. So if I do a full circle and they do a full circle, if they look like they've gone above or below where they used to be, then we'll know if they're faster or slower than us. We just did a full circle and they've moved ever so slightly lower, which means we're actually faster than Eve right now, which is interesting. Which means that let me type this into the math real quick. We are real close at 9,550 million. We're happy because this is good intel. We're not happy because we're sitting in the middle of nowhere. So that means that ideally we want our full proper orbit to be 9,550,000. Decimals out of here. We're not using decimals. I do some complicated stuff. I acknowledge this about myself. Okay. So 9,550 million is the new target speed. So if we're at 9,601 right now, let's use that as our benchmark. Okay. So that means, scroll up here. We are currently at 9,602. And we want to go to 955 as our proper orbit. Target velocity is 10887.5. Let's do it. Ever so slightly speed up. 10887.5. We're there. Now we do a half orbit, go to the other side, then we'll be almost perfectly on the Eve line. And then we'll boost up to slow down so that Eve catches up so that we get to Eve. Oh look, there's Eve. Basically where we left it before. I mean, like, legally, physically, yes. If you mean use air to boost yourself at all, yeah, it's called a helicopter. If you mean using air to boost yourself in space, like you're in space already. If you've got like a balloon that you just like poke a hole in and just let the air fly out in that direction, then yeah, you could. That'll push you backwards. It's not a lot, but you can do it. Or, you know, just exhale, just blow. You could make a rocket that works like that. Yeah, you could do it. The only reason that nobody does it is because it's not fuel efficient. But it does work. It works perfectly fine. It's just... Well, if you're gonna have air, why not have air that explodes? Makes it stronger. And so, alongside the air, they bring basically methane. Okay. We're going into the weeds of rocket science here, but here's a fun little trick. The fuel efficiency of a rocket is directly correlated to how fast the material you're throwing out of the rocket is moving. Strictly, the velocity you can launch it out of the rocket is your fuel efficiency. If you have a rock and you throw a rock off of a rocket at like, I don't know, 10 meters per second, it'll move you a little bit. But if you instead throw that rock at like 20 meters per second, it will move you twice as much. So you're getting more like movement out of throwing the rock. In terms of like compressing air and then just having it fly out the back, yeah, that'll be pretty fast. But even faster is an explosion. So you set that air on fire, it expands, and the expansion makes it go faster still. And that's why most rockets explode. Deliberately. With the fire out the back. I'm not... Well, mainly because NASA's already figured this stuff out. They don't need me to say it. NASA figured this stuff out in, like, the 90s. That's not even true. They figured it out in the 60s. They've been doing this stuff for decades. They've moved on to, like, using, like, ion magnetic railguns to push the atoms out fast as possible. They're way beyond this stuff. No, I'm not better than most people at NASA. I'm better than most people not at NASA. That's an important difference. I'm better than the average person walking along the street. I am not better than the people at NASA. They've already taken the best. Also, the whole thing with, like, rocket stuff is the engineering. Like, it's not tough to make a rocket. It's really tough to make a rocket that doesn't blow itself up. That's an important distinction. Okay, we are now at the operating altitude. We want to go up to, let's say, another 100 from here. Yeah, you asked me to do, like, I don't know, structural analysis on this rocket and why it doesn't crumple into, like, an aluminum can. I can't tell you. I'm operating on, like, video game convenient math here. It's way more complicated and real. But this is the kind of, like, broad strokes that you have to deal with in real. Okay, we are currently at 9549. And I want to go up to 9650. Again, same logic as before. Eve's behind us. We want to raise our altitude so it can catch up. Target speed is 10959.3. Hey, we did it. Okay, now we do, again, one orbit. See how it goes. I don't know if you should be asking the janitors for rocket science advice. Maybe they know a thing or two. I feel like just being in the building makes you, like, at least 3% smarter. Okay, I was not doing the old angle trick, but it feels like Eve's getting closer. Maybe that's just the confidence talking. Maybe it's the fact that I can see Gilly a lot more clearly now. I'm setting up the angle trick. You want the smartest janitors in the entire world, head to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. Those janitors can tell you some stuff. I am really curious. Just like coincidentally, what location has the smartest janitors? Now, that's completely ignoring the problem of how the heck do you even measure intelligence, which is its own whole philosophical thing. But also the general sense of, like, what makes janitorial work at one location or another result in increased wisdom? Not in the sense of what makes a janitor smart, but like what makes a janitor smart. Okay, I just did the old angle trick, and Eve is definitely getting closer. It's just a matter of time now. Rocket history is interesting to me. Maybe not... Okay, yeah, okay. If you're interested in something, you tend to be interested in it. That's great advice, Self. There is one element of this I have not been correcting for, and that's that Eve is not perfectly on the flat plane we are on, which is inconvenient. I'm going to try and fix that, but in order to fix that, we need to have Eve be on the plane we are on. Stop. Okay. Right now, we're orbiting in a circle, an oval. But Eve is on a different oval. I'm explaining this terribly. There is a 2D plane that we are orbiting on because the shape of an orbit is a 2D object. It's an oval. It's an ellipse. It's an oval. But that means that you could have an entire oval on a different plane that you don't collide with at all. Which means that even if Eve is at the same point in its oval that we are, those ovals might not be intersecting. So we need to boost into 3D in order to align our ovals. There's no real trick to this. I just sort of eyeball it until it doesn't look like Eve is swaying left and right. Fortunately, this is a free action. It won't mess with our math anywhere else because twisting the oval doesn't change how big it is. Warp again, and it looks like Eve is still moving to the left of us. So we move ourselves to the left of us. Not too much, though. This is at least getting us closer. We can do some more orbits, let it refine even further. It's not that big of a deal. It's not something you have to really think too hard about. You just have to let it connect. So now it's back here, except it's swaying the other way now because it sways back and forth. But now it's in the middle. We have to match the pendulum. More specifically, we have to cancel out our movement. Okay, and launch. That's 10 seconds. Let's see how it does. Still moving that way. Let's do like 15 seconds. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. How'd that look? It's slower. Definitely slower. We might have to call that good enough. I mean, maybe we don't. We have the fuel to do this forever, basically. I worry that our orbit has gotten slightly more lopsided. I think it's just the song. It's very droning and ominous. Sometimes deep space is spooky. You kind of have to account for that in your math. Okay, I'm setting up the old angle trick. Okay, stop here. Angle is set, go. I just want to make sure everything's good. Because it does start becoming lower than us, but that's because it's in an elliptical orbit, and we can't avoid that. So our reference point has to be one full orbit, because that's standardized. We'll be in the same position after one orbit. The only thing that could possibly change is where Eve is. I don't exactly know why it's flickering. Okay, it stopped flickering. That's good, I guess. I can almost like see the circle it's moving in. Okay, I'm gonna try the old angle trick with north being to the right, just to there. I can't see Eve any... Oh, I can't see Eve anymore because it's too close. The glint of the planet is being removed and replaced with the planet. That's definitely a sign that we're closer, but that means I can't see the dang glint anymore. You can see Gilly just sort of ambling around. We're definitely taking this extremely slow. I could have done a more aggressive fly. But we're gonna get there. I'll say at this point it's easier for me to track Gilly than Eve. That's just the one I can see. There it is. Steady. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's above me. It is like above me, above me. Oh, I thought that autosave was just crossing the sphere of influence. I've lost it. There it is. Oh, it's above us, above us. That's scary. No, no, we hold the course. It's above us, but it's still behind us. We are holding the line. It just means that we're close. Whoa, 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 whoa! I can't see it. I can see Gilly, but I can't see Eve. Oh, there's Eve. Oh, we can see it! The planet is real! Okay. It goes up, then we go up. So we're further away from it right now, but that's because it's gone up. It'll come back down. Every little sway it takes it a bit closer to us. Oh, there it is. Oh! We're here. We're here. Okay. So, data, immediately, right now, we have a reasonable estimate for the SOI at the bare minimum. We know we're inside Eve right now, which means it has to be above us. So, let's see, this would be for Eve, SOI of roughly, let's say, 81942,000 plus Eve's actual radius. 81942,000. plus 700,000. That would be 19 plus 7, which is 26. Okay. There's our rough SOI, and I'm going to put that in as yellow, because on one hand, it's fine. Like, yeah, it's inaccurate, but also we don't care. That's just how it works. Interesting that the sphere of influence is almost exactly the same size as Kerbin's. I know that there's some interplay between, like, the mass of the planet and the distance to the sun, but it's interesting that they cancel out in regards to Eve. That's cool. Okay, so that's information. Now, here's the question. Is it possible at all for us to get any information about Gilly? Gilly is a planet we might just have to fly to. I asked. I don't know if I asked you, but I most certainly asked. Okay. Well, first order of business is most certainly get this into orbit. Boost us up. Get this as close to a circle as possible. I want to know our orbital parameters right now. To do that, we need to be at apoapsis. It's probably safe to go to periapsis. I'd rather just do it here. Stop. Okay, close enough. So using our Eve calculator here, now that we're there, we're currently at an altitude of 8193,000. What would it take to make that a circle? 314.5. Well, we're certainly below that. About 1 million. 63.1. Okay, so we're below 81 million, but above 1 million. I'd like to start our search there, then. We'll go down to whatever our periapsis is, and then we'll start searching for Gilly. Actually, I have an idea. I can't actually see Gilly. Where is it? Okay, forget the plan. If I can't find Gilly, I can't do the plan. Gilly's gonna be weird. It's gonna be like a proper scavenger hunt. Maybe go to a different orbital camera. There we go. Okay, where's Gilly? There's Gilly. Okay, we're gonna try and do the old timer trick again. This is gonna be extremely loose and uncertain, but if we do this good, we'll at least be able to get the semi-major axis of Gilly, and that will constrain it slightly. So let's see here. We are at... Let's go to our time calculator here. This is 12,250. Actually, I'm going to go with universal time here. Universal time, this is 189,281. 3:53:01. I am now going to time warp until Gilly is basically vertically in line with us again. This is not going to work. Maybe it will. Okay, that was a complete mess, but... well, maybe the solution is just to go again. This is not working. And now I don't even know where Eve is. Okay, new plan. We need a new plan. Okay, here's the new plan. I'm gonna get out of this dang polar orbit. Yeah, okay. The ship, there's the ship. The bad news is that Eve is definitely above us. We can use that to our advantage. We use the galaxy line and just look for Eve. Just like radar it. Seems like we're just crossing over the poles for a second. Where's Eve? Where's Eve? Where's Eve? Still above us. Careful. Careful. Right there. Okay. Now we just need to get to the other side of this orbit, which will theoretically be slower than this one. Can I make the Excel's dots thingy bigger? I mean, technically, yes. Is it, like, unacceptable at that size? Because if I make it bigger, it'll start getting all pixely, because it's designed to be that size. Or do you mean have more pixels in it? Okay, I'm gonna hold us this way, and we'll know we're on the other side perfectly when basically do a 360 spin. So back in ancient times, which is to say when I originally had Excels, it was 3x10. Wait, no, 3x10 is what it is right now. It was... it was like... I don't even remember. I think it was 40x10. Something like that. Instead of there being 30 pixels, it was like 120 or something. Might have been even like 120 by 3. I don't remember. Point is, I made it smaller because I changed my overlay to not be an overlay. And at no point in the development of Excels did I ever want the height of Excels to exceed 3 pixels. The reason for this is I didn't want anyone to use the fact that they could draw on the screen to draw illegal things on the screen. So I am not going to add more pixels to Excels, especially not in the vertical direction. Now I'm afraid you're going to have to be creative with the space you have. And now that I'm looking at Excels right now, this is quite creative use of it. Good job. I like the sort of like double checkerboard thing going on. I'll just draw the Mona Lisa in... I'll just draw the Mona Lisa in Hypixel Skyblock. I'm pretty sure someone's already done that. Might not have been the Mona Lisa specifically. It might have been like the Last Supper. I don't remember. Point is no, for legal reasons. For liability reasons. Okay, back to the game. We need to loop around 360 degrees. Sorry, 180 degrees. And that is here. If I'm looking at this correctly. Yep. Eve is right there. Okay, time to stop being a polar orbit. We want to go equatorial now. Best way to do that, I think. This is our normal. There's velocity vector. We want it to be here, and backwards is there. So if I point us in between... So, okay. Here's how you change your direction in an orbit for a second. You go in between where backwards is and where you want forward. So backwards is that circle with the 3 spokes. And where we want forward is the purple triangle. So I'm putting ourselves right in between. And then I'm just going to floor the engines until that happens. Go. Might take a bit. But in terms of like one single burn to change your trajectory, not your speed, but just the direction you're traveling, this is the most fuel-efficient way to do it. The real most fuel-efficient way to do it would probably be to go somewhere else, change your orbit there slightly to make this part easier, but if you just want to do it at a single point, this is the point to do it. I think we might be a little low. It's not a metaphor, it's exactly what we're doing. There's like geometry reasons. I don't know how much fuel this will take. Fortunately, I don't have to know. I just know that once our speed starts increasing, which it just did, we're halfway done. Yep, there's our forward coming in across the horizon near the bottom right. Slowly fading in as it crosses the fake nav ball horizon to appear on screen. we want it to go over to the horizon at about where that 90 is. Because that'll mean that we're going due east, which is where we want to go. Now, I say we want to go due east. I'm guessing that Gilly is also on an easterly orbit of some kind. Alright, I think we're close enough that I can just refine this however I want to. Technically, yes. Excels is operating, like, locally as a program that I run while the stream is running. So for that to work, I'd have to have Excels running 24/7. Just passively while I try and do anything else. Int has been in... I've discussed with Int the collective of individuals, but mostly Lark, about the ability of getting like a dedicated server for me to run stuff on, where I could just put Excels permanently. And also maybe the Rubicon Fight Club. And so if that goes through, eventually we need the dang money. Then I could move it there and then it can run 24/7. But right now, just due to what I am capable of doing, it's a mostly on-stream thing. Okay. We are now in an easterly orbit around Eve. And the question is, where the heck is Gilly? There the heck is Gilly. That would be a good investment, but we gotta find the money for that. I've been interested in the Steam machine as possibly the machine to do that. It seems generally powerful enough to maybe host the RFC. And at the same time, it can just host some other small silly things. We'll have to see. Maybe there's like actual proper servers that we could buy and somebody can install. There's Gilly. Tracking Gilly is tough. Oh. Is that Gilly going... I can't tell if this is Gilly really far away and we're just faster than it, or if it's really close and flying under Eve right now. Really hard to tell these things. Wait, are we close? Are we close to Gilly? Gilly is going to be an absolute pain to track down, huh? You're randomly advertising to new people watching. I'm looking at the chat and I'm seeing predominantly people who have already seen before. So I think these are just people. Okay. So the good news is that we're at Eve. The bad news is... Oh, wait, what? Huh? You can just do that? Okay, here's my general ghillie plan. I'm going to put it in between me and Eve to the best of my ability. And then once it's there, I'm just going to try and, like, match its maneuvers. Like, right now, it's right there. I'm just going to floor it. See what that did. Whoa, 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 whoa. Like, we were close to it just then. I don't really know how I could possibly... Okay, well, step one is obviously semi-major axis, but how do I deal with the eccentricity? It's so eccentric. Okay, it's right there. It's in between me and Eve right now. Relative velocity is about the same. So, right now, it's going... What does that mean? It's... This is tough. This is tough. I'm going to quickly ignore this problem and address your thing. Now that I know that you did that, that probably explains a small surprise that I saw yesterday. The most recent PlanetSide 2 video got a lot of views, which is unusual for it, and I got one subscriber randomly. Normally I expect subscribers to show up for the KSP stuff, so if it happened for the PlanetSide 2 one, that may be a result of your influence. Like, somebody showed up. Okay. I have a plan. The plan is, I suspect that we, being in a vaguely circular orbit, are right above the periapsis of Gilly, or at least something close enough to be the periapsis of Gilly. So I'm going to go 90 degrees out from here to here. And then I'm going to floor it radial out. Three, 2, 1, launch. My theory here is that if I can get my orbit to be as eccentric as Gilly's, maybe I can influence its nonsense. I'm going to go to 45 degrees. I don't want to crash into Eve while doing this. stop there. Let's try this. Oh, we may have been onto something here. Okay, Gilly's in a higher orbit than we are. Let's go to periapsis and boost up, I think. Here or so. I know I'm eyeballing all of this, but that's because there's no hope that we can get Gilly good. Actually, Gilly might be an interesting test case for when we're trying to solve ellipses, because it's so extreme. It's so extreme, it might be the perfect guinea pig. That makes me very confident that we have aligned with Gilly's periapsis. That had some speed in it. Oh, man. In that moment, we were in the Gilly circle. I'm going for it. I'm flooring it. Point me at Gilly and just full steam ahead. This is not elegant. This is not clean, but it is what I'm doing. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to treat this like we would treat eccentricity corrections. We see that Gilly's moving in. So let's move in. Too far, too far. This was a mistake. I've blinded into it. I've almost certainly blinded into it. I head north. This is perhaps the sloppiest attempt at getting to a celestial body I've ever done. But if it works, we will be in business. Okay. Gilly is right there. It's moving away from us. Might actually be a great idea to point us locked here. Then we'll get some relative positioning and we can actually do this well. Okay. Gilly is right there. We are moving vaguely in that direction. It's just a matter of the relative motions. It is moving down and to the left. Where the heck did it go? Oh, there it is. Okay. A little bit of time. Moving down and to the right. So this way. The controls are very tricky. We'll just go this way for like 10 seconds. Okay, now Gilly, what do you do? Still that way. Another 10 seconds. Maybe even... I'm facing that way. Up and down here. Okay, up and down now corresponds to this. Good. Now we just take the direction it's going, and then throttle that way. It's looking good. Focus more downwards now. The fact that it's kind of circling around us is a very good sign. It means that it's somewhere in between everything we've been doing. So maybe let's go for 5 seconds right now. That's very good. This could be it. Well, this could be it. Come on. I think we're here. We're here. Okay. I didn't notice the flip over, but I think we're here. Okay, now what in the world is a good orbit around Gilly? Let's lower to 100 and see if we fly back out. Does look like we're ascending. I'm gonna check the atmosphere, not the altimeter, because I do want to know the sphere of influence. Though I do think the sphere of influence will change based upon how close it is to Eve. Okay, we're back in Eveland. Nope, nope. Don't lose it. Do not lose this. How frequently are you doing this? I don't want you spamming me. Okay, careful. Wait for the speed to change and then just pause immediately. There. Okay, this is 112,000. Okay, so at least right here, not here. The sphere of influence is like 112,000, which is wacky. I'm putting that in red, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay. We're going to be really hard-pressed to get any accurate data from this boulder at all. But we'll try. Okay, so 100 was not enough to stay here. Let's go down to 50. Are we in orbit? Not even close. I'm gonna go up to 50,000, and then I'll just stop here. Instead of, like, changing my direction of travel, I'm just gonna kill my vertical movement. It'll slow us down overall until we eventually get to a point where Gilly is happy with my speed. Okay, I'm gonna go down to 20. There's gotta be some speed I can orbit this boulder. That almost looks good. I'm still rising unacceptably fast. Oh boy, the measurements on this thing are going to be abysmal. The margins of error are going to be so large. Still? Even still. Man, you cannot orbit this thing. Stay low. Please, please stay low. Okay, I think we're good. So let's lower us by a bit. I want to get us so that our orbital speed is above 10, so that we can actually have a margin of error on these measurements. Ooh, that's looking promising. Okay. So we're down here at 17. If we lower the speed to, let's say, 12, what does that do for us? We are descending. Ooh, that's actually too low. I want the spooky music again. I'm vetoing this. Okay. Here's an argument. How would they know that they're going to be recognized? It's that meme of the person digging and they walk away sad right before the diamonds. They don't see the diamonds, they're just sad. Okay, so 12 meters per second is too low. We go under the 5-digit altitude level. So I'm going to accelerate us at apoapsis the moment we actually get there. To 13. Man, that's so much speed. And please tell me we're still descending. We are. Okay, what's our periapsis? That'll work. Okay. We're good. All right, so to recap for you, this is Gilly. It is the moon of Eve. It is basically a tiny asteroid, yes. Eve's up there. We're orbiting it. It's really small. It's like one of the smallest celestial bodies in the game. So its gravity is real weak. But we are now on a mission to measure its gravitational potential. Well, first, our method is... I'm going to restart that sentence. Our objective here is to basically figure out the mass of the asteroid, because knowing the mass of the asteroid, we will be able to make the orbit maneuver calculator work for the asteroid. First, even before that, though, we need to figure out the radius of the asteroid. To do that, we take our orbit and compare our altitude above sea level for the asteroid with our speed. I'm not guessing it. I gotta put a number in. I mean, I guess guessing it and then revising as the numbers are wrong could work. I just think that's a little fuel efficient and boring. Here's the plan, though. We have the radius survey. Oh, there we go. We are going to go to the bottom and top of this specific orbit, figure out our altitude and speed at both of those points. And using that, we'll be able to figure out the radius of the moon. Air quotes, moon. Yeah, guessing is boring. You just say a number and then the game says no, and then you say a different number and the game says no. If you calculate it, you just got to do it once. $217,919. Is it going to go up or down? Okay. Apoapsis, we've got a number for it. 27919. Error is 0.5 as desired. Our velocity was 13.0. 0.05 there. Okay, now we go to the other side and see what it is. To make estimating where the heck it is easier, I'm just going to point prograde and then see when we're about to be retrograde. Why didn't that work? Either way, we're getting close to it. Okay, 60, 50, 14, 3, 2, 1. I'm trying that again. One 15929, 15928, 2726. We are looking for the lowest number. It was 25. I saw it. Okay. 15925 then. Oh, that's a Q for some reason. Error of 0.5. Velocity is 18.3. 0.05. So the significant figures of this is going to be limited by our velocity being the smallest number here at 3. Which stinks, but it'll have to do. Okay. So the estimated radius of the planet, moon, is 13,500 with an error of 700. Not that good. Honestly, one of the worst errors we've gotten for something like this. It is of value, and I will... Hold on, let me cheat for a second. Put a 4 here for a second. Goes to 490. 490. Yeah, okay. The error is just gonna destroy us anyway. So I am forced to put in 13500 for Gilly for its radius. And I'll paint that like a yellow because really the error is just gonna obliterate us. Does make sense. Smallest object ever. Does make sense. Okay, next thing to test is the standard gravitational parameter. And for that, we want to go take our data here from the radius survey. Periapsis of that. Go to here. Sorry, paste it as value. Take that. Put it here. Radius goes there. I have played Space Engineers. I am very excited for the survival update and the core systems update that just came out, and I want to play it. That was my plan for the thing I would start after I finished Greg Season 3. Very hyped for it. I did play through like a scrapyard survival scenario a little while back. That was fun. Sega showed up and crashed many cars. Okay, so for this, we've got the 159 threshold. So let's say when the number at the top reads 159, we'll run this. Let's set up our timer. I think I'm going to do it at a high altitude. Let's say when it hits 29. It doesn't hit 29. When it hits 27. Good enough. Okay. Current time is 190, 186, 456.52. We are going to go for 10 orbits. Begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I know you didn't see it, but I saw it go by. So the current time is 190, 193, time of 231 flat. Force of 10 gives a standard gravitational parameter of extremely freaking small. But it's enough. Put that in there, paint it red because I do not trust it. And boom, we have, for the first time ever, a calculator for Gilly. Okay, to answer your question that you just asked earlier, I don't watch a lot of anime. I'm familiar with the existence of animes, but the only one I've watched for any considerable amount of time is JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. And, like, the first 2 seasons of Attack on Titan. Hassel has been lobbying for me to watch more of them. What do you mean, do I breathe? What kind of question is that? Okay, now that we have a Gilly calculator, let's put in our numbers right now and see if they make any sense at all. Actually, let's try an example situation. Get me to Apoapsis. Okay, so we are at 27914, 27913. And we want to go to, let's say, exactly 10,000. We want a velocity of 12.3. Let's see if we go to 10,000. We went to 11.5. That's not good. That's an excellent question. Gilly, do you have biomes? There's our... Yeah, it does. It does have biomes. This ain't the best onboard navigation for selecting them. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Thank you. Let's go in for a landing. It should not be difficult to go in for a landing. This place has approximately 0 gravity. All landings are free. In fact, I'm almost certain I saw somebody take a Kerbal just standing on the surface of Gilly, jump, and use the jetpack, and manage to get back all the way to Kerbin. I'm pretty sure that was a real thing. You know what? I don't know how Gilly is. Let's make a house call. Oh, what am I doing? I should have been doing science this whole time. Fool that I am. Wait, this is still considered high over Gilly? That's wild. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. I kinda wish that part of my ship that had science on it was, in the light. Okay, now we're just above. So it's somewhere in the 5-kilometer range. Just above Gilly, that's good. Can't do seismic scan, makes sense. Let's log the pressure. Near Gilly. Where's my thermometer at? There's my thermometer at. Base near Gilly, okay. Now, Gilly is so small. Okay, the fact that Gilly is so small means that it's not as spherical as a normal planet. So it's actually a lot more mountainous. The mountains go higher relative to the ground. You can kind of see it's very lumpy. So I'm actually going to swap over from sea level altimeter to radar surface altimeter. You can definitely see the difference, but when it's in green mode, which is radar altimeter, when this number hits 0, we're hitting the ground. Whereas this one is quote-unquote sea level, which for a planet that doesn't have water on it, or a lake or ocean of some kind, is just the lowest point, I think. So we're gonna be going radar altimeter, because we're going in for a landing. 1 kilometer up. I could use one of the mystery goose here. Transmit that back, it's fine. And then I'll do one on landing. Because getting one in Atmosphere of Eve, which is where we're going to go next, doesn't really need anything else. Kind of wish I was closer to the Sun side. Yeah, this has nerve engines. Well, in terms of units, about 20% of the tank. In terms of Delta V, we can change our speed by 1.5 kilometers per second from right now. So we have a certain amount of velocity change stored. I'm going to need like 12 to 13 of it to land. And then we'll have like 1500 to go to Eve. Yeah, this is plenty. We are fine on fuel. It took a lot to blindly get ourselves over here, but we'll be fine. We have enough to land, take off, land again on Gilly, leave, go to Eve, and then explode. So yeah, we're fine. Oh, there's the ground. Get ready to floor it. Up, we are in the shadow of the mountain, officially. 3, 2, 1, zilch. Point straight up. In fact, we could hover here for quite a while and be fine. The gravity is nothing. We're good. Yeah, it's like nothing. In fact, it's probably going to be physically difficult to stay grounded. Let's just get our science and get the heck out of here. Gilly's Lowlands. They will enjoy these detailed readings. Keep that. Seismic data is good. Seismic me dead. Yeah, if you jump, you're just leaving. You're going to Eve. Pressure data. Oh. Okay, there's nothing here. Okay, then one goo. I will not use the Science Juniors here. Okay. Let's send all the data back. Gravity scan done. Seismic temperature goo. Okay. All right, everyone. Leaving Gilly in 3, 2, 1. See ya. Hold on. Okay, yeah, now we're at escape velocity. Let's just get out of here. Off we go. The game won't let us fast forward time too much because at our current altitude, we're in danger of slapping into a mountain. The game isn't smart enough to realize we're going straight up, and that's not a problem. It's okay, though. We got physics warp. And we are out of here. We can time warp past 8 kilometers, apparently. Oh, let's do temperature while we're up here. I didn't do temperature last time. Measuring the temp... Yeah, okay. I don't need you to lecture me on the ability to measure space. Bye! Okay, so here's the plan. We're going to go into Gilly... We're going to leave Gilly's sphere of influence and enter into Eve orbit. When we do, we're going to lower our velocity to kind of skim Eve's atmosphere, and then we are going to go for a landing procedure. And we're going to correct our mistakes from last time. We out of there? Yep, Gilly's gone. Eve has a stronger gravity than Kerbin. The moment we slap into that thing, we are done for. Okay, what's the best way to go about this? I think the best way to go about this is to basically follow Gilly into low Eve orbit and then slow down. A kind of tricky thing here is that we want to land in one of Eve's oceans because we've already got science from Eve's land. But we don't really have that level of control. So we're mostly just going to wing it. Okay. Here we are. Periapsis. 12158,000. We want to go to an altitude of 100,000. So we want our velocity to go down to 272.9. It's quite a bit given our location, but we'll make it. We might have to do a suboptimal entry if we run out of fuel. We are actually in threat of running out of fuel, but we know we can always go for an attempt. We have enough fuel to always go for an attempt. We don't have enough fuel to make the attempt perfect. That's how I will describe this. I don't know how much bigger... Sorry, Eve does not have a stronger gravity than Earth. It has a stronger gravity than Kerbin. I think the only thing... Okay, well, here's the thing about this game. Kerbal Space Program's solar system is kind of on a smaller scale than real-world solar systems. While Kerbin has the same surface gravity as Earth, Kerbin is like 10 times smaller or something. Now, you can make all the science and math work if you just assume that everything is like super hyper dense. Like, they're just really dense planets, somehow. The only celestial body in this game that is about on the scale of the size of real Earth, I think, is Jool, which is like the Jupiter analog. So a gas giant in this game is basically the size of Earth in regular. That said, Eve is a pain to land on. Actually, no, it is very easy to land on Eve. It is near on impossible to leave. Soupy atmosphere, extreme gravity. It's tough. It is tough. The rockets I've made, starting on Kerbin, if you teleported it to Eve, might not be able to get into orbit. And that's to ignore the fact that you have to get a rocket to Eve and then come back. It's a thing. Eve, a round trip to Eve is like the final boss of this game. Doing stuff on Jool is theoretically easier, because that stuff you just pack a lot of fuel. For Eve, that don't work. Anyway, our target speed is 272.9, which we will be achieving shortly. $272.9. Oh, went too far. There we are. Down we go. Went too far. That's okay. We can go around for another loop. Sometimes you accelerate in time, and time is not happy with you. Fortunately, these orbits don't decay or anything, so we can just loop around as many times as we need, provided we're not crashing. Okay, I just checked. Our velocity is 4,000. We do not have the speed. We officially do not have the speed to go ahead with this. Okay. That's unfortunate. It means we're going to have to do this the hard way. And the hard way means big slappy. Yep. That's what we're left with. We are going from 12 million to 0 in one fell swoop. Okay. So we have basically no ability to aim. We're just going to hope we land in the ocean. Here's the plan. Target altitude is being lowered from 100,000 to 25,000. Velocity of 260.5. This will be collision. It basically just told me as much by cutting the camera around. There we go. So, there's the planet. We collide. Let me check my action groups real quick. I don't remember what I've set on everything. Custom 2 is the sequence. Custom 3 is decoupled. Okay. Here's the plan. We are going to fly down. We are going to skim the atmosphere. The moment we collide with the atmosphere, we are going to activate contingency action group number 2. This will contract all of our solar panels and radio antennas into itself. We will then, actually before this happens, we will point ourselves retrograde surface velocity relative so that our heat shield will be pointing in the direction we're traveling. That will eat all the fire and heat and death destruction. Then we lower all the solar panels so they don't get blasted off by being too big to be shielded by the heat shield. Then, 15 minutes later, thanks to a timer activated controller here, once we've slowed down, the solar panels and antenna will reopen, giving us control of the ship once again. First, though, we gotta fall. We did this once before, we can do it again. I am only not happy that we are not going to be landing on the sun side of Eve, which means we're not going to have any idea what the conditions are down there until day, or until it's too late. Moment of truth. Okay, the moment we start hitting atmosphere, that's the moment we're in trouble. Careful. At 200 kilometers, I'm going to jettison the stage and prepare for our final descent. Jettison. Okay. Moving us out of the way of the stage so that we don't slap into it during re-entry. Get us some lateral movement. It's gonna be tough to see anything because we're on the dark side, but you will see the fire, at the very least. We are currently pointing retrograde relative to surface velocity, which is good. That's the one that matters about atmosphere. Once we hit the atmosphere, which we will be doing in a few seconds, I will turn off SAS. Having SAS on was the biggest mistake we made last attempt. We are stuck on the dark side, yeah. There's no real getting around that. We are just stuck on the dark side here. Okay. SAS. SAS off. Uh-oh. It didn't go well. Okay, things are burning left and right, but... Oh, we stabilized. I don't think... Yeah, there's no rocket here. This is a pile of burning debris. And we don't even get to see it. Oh well. What went wrong? Is it just that this isn't an aerodynamically stable configuration? Because it flipped out almost immediately. I'm not staying here for the ship to fall down. We're going to the space center. The ship is lost. No, the speed is fine. It's just the radial stuff. That's the problem. I think we're gonna have to run a test. I would like to see how this thing handles re-entering Kerbin real quick. No, I didn't. The meteor is not surviving. The meteor died. Okay, quick sequel launch, real quick, of the brand. I'm just going to launch this thing like up, sideways, down. I just want to see if the atmosphere is stable. This is a research launch. That said, this launch was not without benefit. We got to Gilly. We did science on Gilly. We got some gravitational parameters of Gilly. That's another celestial object. Well, I mean, theoretically, if you've got the heat shield for it, you can go faster. It's a matter if you've got the heat shield for it, though. So, very little care for our actual launch profile, which is why I'm flooring the engines. In all likelihood, when I do this test, we are going to crash into the surface. And that's okay. You know what? I'm going west. I want this test to happen in the sun. Like I'm doing the proton flight profile. Okay. Full speed, full throttle. I want to see if this thing can survive a violent re-entry. That's actually not what I want to learn here. I want to learn if the final science pod at the top is aerodynamically stable. That's really what the test is here. Now, since we're at Kerbin, we're going to have radio coverage easily. So we can easily do this, and then just run this experiment. We might be going into the dark side anyway. Yeah, we are. Oh well, it's a good test. Same conditions. Okay, so. Retrograde, surface, orientation. Set us up. Disengage RCS. Oh, I think I have a theory as to what happened. I might have spun the ship right before I disabled contact, and the spin made us unstable. But let's see if it works like this. Okay. Terminal launch. We're hitting atmosphere. Let's see what happens. Yeah, I think it was me. I think I was the problem. I don't know. It depends on what lesson plan you have. Like what particular topic is being talked about at the time. Yeah, this is what I wanted. And this is proof that it works. What if I, like, jostle a little bit? Okay, so it is, like, loosely stable like this. The only explanation is that I induced the spin on the ship. It went too far to a side, and then it broke. It's like, even if I do this, it's actually holding quite well. I spun the ship. That's the only explanation. The reason people are always the issue in spaceflight is that spaceflight doesn't happen without people. Somebody has to build the ship. Somebody has to pilot the ship. Somebody has to design the navigation. There is no natural element to the problems in spaceflight because spaceflight is not a natural thing. The only natural part of spaceflight is the... Well, it's the physics. Like the orbits. The thermal re-entry and stuff. And that's the stuff that you're trying to engineer around. So if you perish to those, it's because you failed to engineer it good. So it's a person problem. Actually, there is one non-person problem I can imagine for spaceflight, and that would be like a solar flare. If you're trying to do moon stuff and suddenly there's like a big old solar flare and that just wrecks your electronics, one could argue that you should have shielded against solar flares, but that's also like a freak accident. That's the only other situation I can imagine that would be like a not you problem. Or a not person problem. Though I assume a board of directors complaining that you wasted a bunch of money making a rocket to go to the moon that you lost in a solar flare will be angry at you for not protecting against the solar flare, so they'll make it your problem anyway. I will not be streaming tomorrow. Tomorrow is Saturday, and Saturday is the Rubicon Fight Club, so the Rubicon Fight Club will be the 24-hour stream of just the fighting and the clubbing. Clubbing each other to death in giant robots, as is the normal case. That said, in between today and tomorrow, there will be another stream. Acel and I are doing another Factorio episode, but you specifically will probably be asleep at the time. Look, I know I don't have a schedule, but the one part of my schedule that is very consistent is that Saturdays is Fight Club Day. I can't stream on Saturdays. It's booked out. Okay, we landed. Is there incidentally any science I can do here? Atmospheric analysis? No, I have to be in flight for that. Mystery goo? Just randomly. 0.1 science. But more so than science, we have gained information. We lost the Eve ship due to pilot error, which is unfortunate. Oh my goodness, that's a lot of science. Thank you, Gilly. Alright, what do we want? We have the pick now. Let's see here. Experimental science gives us the narrowband scanner for theoretically doing ore mining processing operations on other planets. Unmanned tech. Isn't there like a heat shield available? Experimental aerodynamics, no. Heavy landing would give us the 10-meter heat shield. The thing is, I don't think this heat shield does like thermal protection aside from it just being good. It doesn't have a blader, which kind of scares me. It's kind of meant to slow down a big ship going in for an orbit, not a landing. Because you're in high altitude, you just want to like grab the air and slow down safely. Let's see, we had a lot. So, do we get the narrowband? I don't know. Do we get large probes? Do we get advanced unmanned tech? Specialized electrics could get us a bigger battery, which might be good on some ships. I think I want the better probe body. At least as one thing. And then the bigger heat shield. Not bigger heat shield, bigger fairing. Combined with the bigger docking port. So I'm going to get metamaterials and I'm going to get advanced unmanned tech. For now. And with that, we can make some improvements. What kind of improvements can we make? We could... Did I get the electrics? Did I get the bigger battery? No. That was a different thing I purchased. What we can do at the very minimum is swap out the Mark II. So let's compare them. Mass 0.2, mass 0.1, so it's lighter. It's got an antenna built in, that's cool. Anomaly detection's 48%, FOV is only 10 to 20 degrees. It's meant to be like a plane probe. Alright, have a good sleep. Got a reaction wheel, 250. Now going to this, the stats overall are less impressive. It's got an antenna on board. FOV is a lot more varied for more general use. Anomaly detection is still pretty good despite everything. Got a reaction wheel on board as well. No internal battery, though. That is a difference. Still, though, very much an improvement. Makes the ship slightly flatter, too. How good is that internal antenna again? Antenna rating 5,000. These things have an antenna rating of 500,000. Still, we're not really trying to rely on those. Put that in, we basically have the old ship. Right, anything else we want to add? Maybe fit more science, but overall the system is clear. We got the new fairing. And the payload that fit on there, yes. Is there an equivalent tank size to this? 3,520. In the big. Small. $3,520. Perfect. Swap out that for this, and it's the exact same. Next up, we can ditch this, go to this. This can just cleanly go up all the sides. Nice. That's a snazzy little rocket we've made there. It's actually extremely huge, but good nonetheless. Everything above is still fine. Is this still the biggest heat shield we have? Which is to say, the biggest heat shield you could possibly get, aside from the inflatable one. Yep. Not a heat shield bigger than this one, unfortunately. Oh, right, I changed out the fairing. I have to put that on the action group now. Deploy. Lower panels, antenna, that's all good. So basically save this as the new upgraded version. All we did was swap out the probe core and made a bigger fairing. But it does streamline it a bit. Okay, one more attempt at that Eve landing. I want to see if we can do it. I want to see if the design is sound. I want to get that Eve water data. Theoretically, maybe I could cool it with the atmospheric variospectrum, whatever it's called. It's fine, though. We know the rocket works. And it's gonna work in 3, 2, 1, launch. Hey, look at that, it's working. Maybe a little early. Articulating. Ooh. Moon's looking pretty red. There's not an eclipse going on, is there? Or is that just like sunrise coloring? We are clear. Frost proceeds. Bit low compared to where we should be. I'm gonna go to 22 and stop. No, I'm gonna go to 24 and stop. I'd much rather overshoot than undershoot. Since I can't see the moon anymore, I assume it was a sunset type deal. Why it was red. And there's sunrise. Okay, we are out of atmosphere. Jettison. 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 Why aren't you jettisoning? Action Group 1, what's going on? Do that. Why aren't you doing that? We are not doing that because we don't have any probe control, and we don't have any probe control because why? What changed? We had probe control all the way up here. Where's my control? Wow, this stinks. Okay, new fault of the system here. Our probe control is abysmal without the antenna deployed. I should probably put those like small antennas back on. If we're gonna have no control this close to the planet turbine. That's just bad. Fortunately, the ship's powerful enough that it doesn't matter. Okay, it matters a little bit because we don't have any control authority. Okay, I'm convinced we are in a valid orbit. Yes. The details do not matter to me. We are going to space today. And the space in question is Eve. So, back to our old classic math. We are currently at an altitude of basically 200,000. So, 200,000. Take that. Place there. And our target escape velocity is 3056.652. I'm not changing the excess because this is the exact same mission we did last time. We would know. Seems good. 3056.7, basically. And off to Eve we go. This mission isn't necessarily about scientific progress. It's about pride. I want to prove to myself that I did make a ship capable of landing there without anything going wrong. We will head out, go to Eve. Something we're getting better at. I think it's actually easier to get to Eve than it is to get to Duna in terms of orbit refinement. Because Eve's sphere of influence is huge. It is eccentric, but it's also smaller because it's closer to the sun. And I think all of that together makes it a bigger target to hit. Up. Looks like we've hit our mark. We did not get slow enough, which makes sense. That's fine, we can fix it. Either way, we're at about 9906. So at 9906... we want to go to 9550, which is our estimate for its exact semi-major. Target velocity is 10641.6. We do it. I just wanted to balance out the exact apoapsis, periapsis, the apsis. Then we'll spin into place. Then we'll burn. Our velocity was 10641.6. There we are. And time warp. Back at it again in space, and it looks like Eve will be relatively close. At least from this perspective. Okay. The staging's a bit botched. We'll have to fix that later. For now, I can fix it manually. The plan right now is we're basically at our parking location. We want to figure out... I'm going to try and go directly into the phase alignment orbit immediately to save on fuel, to make things a little bit simpler, and for style points. So at this position right here, it would appear that Eve is at just about -9 degrees. So, phase aligner. 9549 for a corrected radius of this. It is about 9 degrees down. It is behind us. We could go for 9973 if we wanted 4 orbits. I think I will accept 4 orbits. Even though we are relatively close, I would like to know just exactly how it's treating us here. So target is... $549. Target is... Oh. Give me that. There we go. 10976.3. Only slightly slower. We're actually pretty close to it. Interesting. Farewell, lower stage. 10976.3. Now we wait for orbits. Put it into free camera so we can watch Eve be in front of us. I wonder what this translates to in altitude. Not much higher than normal. This is almost in like correction altitude regime. 713. I think by the end of this we'll end up quite close. And so I'm wondering if I should correct our inclination as we go. There's one orbit. Let's try and correct our inclination here. Go. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm guessing 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. How'd that do? Well, it didn't overcorrect, so that's good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It's better. Not by much, but it's better. I'll try some more in another orbit. I can see Gilly. That's a good sign. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Total of a minute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So right now we're at a total of 80 seconds. Oh, that seems to have done it. That's looking nice and aligned. Okay, I think we've done 2 orbits out of 4. There's the blinking. We're getting close. Okay, we're getting to the point where I can't see Vive anymore, and I have to, like, carefully watch for Gilly. Fortunately, I still see Gilly, barely. Though Eve doesn't move much. This might be us entering into the back half of the final orbit. I haven't really been counting all that well. Oh, and it definitely seems like movement is happening. Maybe we've only been at 3. I'll do one more, and if I have to overcorrect in the other direction, I have to overcorrect in the other direction. It's fine. It's still, like, very strictly behind us. We're definitely getting close. Going into altitude. Might be a mistake to have not corrected that orbit, but it still looks like we're getting closer. Okay, it was a mistake. We've overgone. We've overshot. That's okay. We can fix this. Okay, now that we're here, we're going to slow down. We know our conditions. 9549. Let's go to 9500. It might just be subtle enough to work. 10917.6. Okay, one orbit. See what happens. Where the heck is he even going? Let's dress. Okay. Keep going. I see him. Now we're going in the direction of travel. They should be coming towards us because we're going faster than them around the sun. Did we overcorrect? I don't think we did. We are in the circle. So I think we keep going and see if we get outside of the circle. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. We're here. We made it. Great. Oh, this is a very low energy orbit. We're not on a collision course, are we? No, we're flattening out. We're good. Ooh. Okay, periapsis is here. Basically. 2.7 million. Not bad for an encounter. Okay, let's get this running. 2781,000. Hello? Down to, let's say... Let's circularize this for now. 1532.2. We're going to be spending a lot of fuel on this, but that's fine. All I really want to do here is get our orbit such that we're going to enter the atmosphere on the sun side. Just so I can see what's going on. Repeat 1532.2. So I mostly repeat it for my own sake. I'm bad at remembering things. Okay, we're here. Now we just warp a bit so that we're on, like, fully the dark side of Eve. Have the line of the sun's horizon parallel where we are now. And now we go for splash. Looks like we were a bit off. That's okay. To the numbers. 2828,000. Target 25,000. 888.6. I think I have the opinion that maybe our standard gravitational parameter for Eve is a little off. I don't think it's off enough to ruin the mission, though. Almost time. Okay. We have a landing course. I'm going to warp a little bit forward. Very, very carefully. And then I'll prepare stuff for landing. Okay, now is a good enough time to prepare landing stuff. So, first, decouple. Okay, surface retrograde. We hold that for a bit. Actually, there is nothing else for me to do here. It's just be ready. Yeah, okay, so I think the problem we had last time was that when I time warped slightly to get to the atmosphere, and then it tried to correct retrograde, it flung like that, but then while it was flinging, I turned off control, thus forcing the entire craft to just sort of not be able to bounce back from its original trajectory. So this time, I'm going to turn SAS off much sooner. And then we just wait until we collide. The aerodynamic stability should be good enough that this is fine. The only thing I know for certain is that the atmosphere starts below 100,000. My guess is that it's like being like 85,000. So I'm going to activate sequence at 90. Okay, let's begin. Okay, those explosions were the other craft, like the other stage exploding. Those are fine. Aerodynamic stability is good. It's stable. It's stable. The timer is activated. The parachutes have deployed. 15 minutes from now, we should be good. Bad news, I think we're landing on land. Maybe. We might be able to hit this lake. It'll be close. Oh, actually, worst case scenario is we might hit the mountainside. Oh, there goes parts of the old stage. Yep, we're hitting the mountainside. Oh well. You know, maybe there's a world where we can, like, roll ourselves into the lake. That might be dangerous. At the very least, we can be pretty confident this is a new biome. And I think our victory is now foregone. We will win. Just a matter until waiting for everything to be complete. Starting to think that maybe the playtime on the controller is a bit too long for Eve specifically. Just because here we're in the soup so long that we may want to actually get data in flight before we land. So maybe something on the order of 6 minutes might be good. We're already in, like, drogue zone. Well, no, we're at, like, 60 meters per second in thick atmosphere. We want the parachutes to properly deploy, I think. Still, let's get ready on some of the stuff. Some goo, get some gravity, some barometer, get some fluid spectrovariometers. There's the thermometer. Science Junior. We got a goose, so that's fine. I don't think we have any other experiments aboard, so we should be good. Yep, we're not gonna be able to get the in-flight stuff, so we'll just get stuff upon landing. Unless... Okay, that doesn't look very good. That doesn't inspire confidence in me. A little bit. Okay, that's not actually better at all. Let's just go to 3 times. That's the surviving pieces of the orbital stage. Glad those landed. Yep, I'm gonna call it. Just a little too long. Cut that down to like 13 minutes and it would be fine. Either way, we landed. Now just wait for the timer to complete. Three, 2, 1. Beautiful. Connection reestablished. We have control. Now, how much control we really got? Yeah, gravity is way too high for this to move. We are not making it to the ocean. But we are making it to right here. Log temperature. Conduct material study. Blood pressure. Observe the goo. We observed the goo. Gravity data. Do you think there's an argument for putting the parachutes lower? Maybe to keep the drogues up there, but the regulars lower. Where's the center of mass on this? I'm curious. I feel like it'd be slightly lower. We have all these fuel pods and batteries down here. Okay, and finally, the fluid spectrovariometer. Fair enough, fair enough. Okay, I'm going to keep that for a second, make sure that we have enough electricity to actually transmit it. Now we are going to try and transmit it. Sorry. Cancel that. There goes the science. Now let's do some analysis. Can we roll down there somehow? Here's my thinking. Step 1 is give us some charge. Step 2 is maybe we can... I can't even see the propulsion of the monopropellant. It's just visible. Does seem like maybe it's working. Okay, here's the attempt. Retract solar panel. Retract solar panel. We've got enough battery control that this should be fine. I just don't want them breaking while we do this. Here's the plan. Jettison the heat shield. Ooh, we're sliding. That's a good sign. I'm gonna try and... Oh! Hey! We lost something, but that's fine. Because what we can do now is get stuck on a rock. Apparently. But this is the start. We have movement. Really kind of bad movement, but it's movement. Okay, we lost something else. That's okay. It was one of the solar panels. We got 2 more. Now let's just shimmy our way down there. That was a good shimmy. More, okay, this is open ground. I just looked at how far we have to go. I don't think we're getting there. Even if we do spend the time to try and get down there, I think it's very likely that we will break too many parts on our mission there. Still, I am happy that we've gotten this much. Only I could just, like, tactically lower our friction to the ground and just slide. Ooh, that's looking good. That's some distance. We can logically intuit that our destination is more than 2 kilometers away because our destination would logically be at sea level. And we're at 1.89 kilometers, 1.89 meter, 1.89 kilometers above sea level, and we're going down diagonally. Honestly, it's probably closer to like 3-4 kilometers. But every bit we roll is a step towards victory. Well, we tried. Let's thumbnail it up. This tells the story, don't it? Oof. That's fine, though. The mission itself was a complete success. It just so happens that the ship surviving was no longer necessary. We'll hit one of the oceans eventually. It might actually be viable to make some sort of helicopter to fly over there for wherever we land. Or, you know, figure out a re-entry method that allows us to retain control of the vessel. You know, there's arguments to be made for that. Okay, but before we continue, which we won't, what do we want to get with the science we've just gotten? Experimental aerodynamics, heavy landing, supersonic flight, all good options. I think I'm going to go with specialized electrics. That'll give us the big battery. The big battery is good. One of those, please. Good. Now we're just 1,000 science away from the RTG, and we will be able to go into deep space without having to worry about the sun for electrical charge. Running out of science to get. Running out of science that would be beneficial to us casually. We're kind of beyond airplanes for flight. Then again, a glider for Eve might be what we're looking for. Actuators would help us build big machines if we want to go that route. Yeah, mostly just the electrics. Everything else is pretty normal. There's also a lathe plane. Lathe plane would be cool. Cool. Our physical capabilities are reaching their maximum, and that is very good. It'll just be a matter of building bigger and better as we scour the rest of the system. I do want to try and orchestrate a singularly all-encompassing duel mission where we bring a big old ship that has like multiple probes that detach, go to the individual planets, and we get like all of the science, all of the data for duel all in one trip in terms of the parameters. That would be awesome. And I think... No, we're not going to do that next. We still have Moho and Dress. Elu is probably still a long way out. The problem of eccentricity is going to continue to plague me, and I will have to solve it at some point. But for now, at least, we can enjoy the merit and benefit of everything that we've accomplished so far. All of the data we've gathered, all of the tools we've made, it has given us more and more the ability to just explore the systems, go to all the planets, go to all the moons. We've gotten there. We've gotten to all these places without a map. We've done more in this game than some people do in this game ever. And we did it without a map. And so even if the progress we make maybe slows down... Oh man, I forgot about this thing. Thanks for all your help on the radar station, Cat Bro. I appreciate it. Even if the progress of, like, advancement, more parameters, more data slows down, we've earned the right to just sort of enjoy flying around the system. Just going places, doing things. But we're not done yet. We got more science to do. Moho's out there. Dress is out there. And we got Jewel and all of its fun stuff. Tune in for more of that eventually. And more of Giant Radar Station, I guess. I don't know if this is necessary anymore because the Switchyard system has been good. This did help boost things during our first few Duna missions. And I appreciate it. But Capro, you and the rest of the Kiru, it might soon be time for you all to take the charge into interplanetary space. That'll be exciting. I'm Exception. This isn't TV. Have a good day and good night.